Welcome to 21st Sports Recap and Reaction for Game 1 of the ALCS between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Kansas City Royals. We're going to go over every at-bat and the stats and give our breakdown and analysis for this game. So on the mound for Kansas City, Edison Volquez, and on the mound for Toronto, Marco Estrada. So starting on the top of the first, Edinson would strike out Revere, and then Donaldson flew out. Batista drew a walk, and Encarnacion grounded out. So that would do it for the top of the first. And on the bottom of the first, Estrada would let up a leadoff double to Escobar. Zobrist flew out. Kane then grounded into a fielder's choice, and Escobar was out at third. Hosmer then grounded out, and that would do it for the first inning. So now on the top of the second, Volquez would set down the side in order as he got Colabello to line out, Tulowitzki lined out, and Navarro popped out. So now to the bottom of the second, Estrada would set the side down in order as well, as he would strike out Morales and Moustakas, and Perez would fly out. So now the top of the third, Pilar would draw a walk to lead off the inning. Goins would then sacrifice Pilar over to second. Revere then flew out, and Donaldson grounded out, so they left a runner stranded in scoring position on second. So now to the bottom of the third, Alex Gordon led off with a leadoff double. Rios struck out, and then Escobar doubled and brought Gordon in, and it was 1-0 Kansas City over Toronto. Zobrist then grounded out, but that moved Escobar over to third, so 90 feet away from home. And Lorenzo Cain in the box hits a single, brings Escobar in, and it's 2-0 Royals over the Blue Jays. Lorenzo Cain would steal second. Hosmer then popped out, and that would do it for the third, but not after the Kansas City Royals had put 2 runs on the scoreboard, the first 2 runs of this game, as they led 2-0 over the Blue Jays. So now on the top of the fourth, Volquez would strike out Batista, and Encarnacion would fly out. Colabello would hit a single, and then Tulo struck out, and that would do it for the top of the fourth. So now to the bottom of the fourth, Estrada would strike out Morales and Moustakas, each for the second time in this game. Perez then went deep as he hit a home run to center 392 feet, and that solo shot would make it 3-0 as the Royals extended their lead over the Blue Jays. Alex Gordon would fly out, and that would do it for the fourth, but not after the Royals had added one more run to the scoreboard. So now the top of the fifth, Volquez would get Navarro to fly out. Pilar grounded out. Goins reached on a single, and then Revere grounded out. So that did it for the top of the fifth. Now the bottom of the fifth, Estrada would set down the side in order. As Rios popped out, Escobar grounded out, and Zobrist flew out. Now on the top of the sixth, Donaldson would get a leadoff walk. Batista then drew a walk, so now you had 2 on, no out for Edwin Encarnacion, and Encarnacion is struck out by Volquez. Colabello lines out, and then Volquez strikes out Tulowitzki. So after 2 walks to lead off the inning, 3 straight outs, including bookended strikeouts for Volquez in the top of the sixth. So now in the bottom of the sixth, Estrada would strike out Kane. Hosmer then reached on an error by Donaldson. Now Morales would get a single, and you had runners on the corners for Moustakas. Estrada would be done for the night, and Loop would come in to relieve him. Moustakas then grounded into a double play, and that would do it for the sixth. So now on the top of the seventh, Kelvin Herrera in for Volquez, as Volquez had pitched 6 shutout innings and now was being relieved by Kelvin Herrera, and Herrera set down the side in order, bookending the inning with strikeouts as he struck out Navarro, Pilar popped out, and Goins struck out. So now the bottom of the seventh, Mark Lowe in to pitch for Loop in relief, and he would set down the side in order as well as he got Perez to fly out, Gordon flew out, and then Rios struck out. So now on the top of the eighth, Ryan Madsen in to relieve Herrera for the Royals on the mound. Revere would ground out. Josh Donaldson reached on a single. Batista would draw his 3rd walk of the game. So now you had 2 on, 1 out. And Smoke would come in to pinch hit for an Encarnacion. Smoke flew out. And then Colabella grounded into a fielder's choice. And that would do it for the top of the 8th. So now in the bottom of the 8th, LaTroy Hawkins would come in to pitch for the Jays in relief of Lowe. Escobar was hit by a pitch, the first batter Hawkins faced. Zobrist then reached on an infield single, so now he had 2 on, no out for Kane. He flew out, and now Hosmer came to the plate, and he hit a double. That brought in Escobar. Zobrist over to third, runners on the corners for Morales. He hit a sac fly. Zobrist tagged up, and now it was 5-0 Kansas City over Toronto. So Hosmer brought in Escobar. That made it 4-0. Morales with the sac fly, and it's 5-0. Moustakas then came to the plate, and Moustakas flew out as he got out for the 4th time in this game, as he was one of only 2 batters for the Royals that didn't reach base, as 7 of their 9 starters in the lineup reached base. But that would do it for the bottom of the 8th, but not after the Royals had added 2 more runs, and they now led 5-0. So now, top of the 9th, Luke Hochevar on the mound. Not a save situation, but he was out there to close this game out. He gets too low to ground out. Now Navarro would reach on an error by Moustakas. Pilar then came in to the box, and he would get a fielder's choice, and Navarro would be out at second, so he was on first from the fielder's choice, and Goins came to the plate with 1 on, 2 out, down by 5, and Goins flies out, and Hochevar brings this game to a close as the Royals' 4 pitchers combined for a shutout in Game 1 of the ALCS against the Blue Jays as the Kansas City Royals win 5-0. 6 shutout innings by Volquez as he only let up 2 hits, and he had 4 walks, 5 strikeouts. Herrera 1 inning pitched, no hits, no earned runs, no walks, and 2 strikeouts. Madsen 1 inning pitched, 1 walk, 1 hit, no earned runs, of course, and Hochevar 1 inning pitch with no hits and no earned runs. So an amazing performance combined by the Royals staff. Volquez 6 strong innings, and then 3 strong innings of relief by Kansas City. So they've got an excellent bullpen. They didn't even have to use, Wade Davis, because it was not a save situation. They were up by 5. Those insurance runs helped out there in the 8th inning, so that way they could, rest Davis and have Hochevar just close out the game. Of course, Volquez gets the win. Estrada gets the loss as he let up 3 earned runs in 5 1/3 innings off of 6 hits. He had 6 strikeouts. He did let up that solo shot to Salvador Perez. Of course, that was in the 4th inning. Then Loop, 2/3 of an inning pitched, no hits, no earned runs. Lowe, 1 inning pitched, no hits, no earned runs, 1 strikeout. Then Hawkins continues to struggle in this postseason. So he ended up letting up 2 earned runs off of 2 hits in the 1 inning he pitched. And so we look at the offense of these 2 teams, and I'll tell you, the Blue Jays just couldn't buy a hit in this game. So they only had 3 hits. They actually reached base more on balls than they did on hits. And actually, Jose Bautista walked 3 times. Jose Bautista reached base as much off of the 3 walks as the rest of the team combined for hits with 3 hits. It's Donaldson 1 for 3, and he actually drew a walk as well, so he reached twice. Bautista just 0 for 1 because of the 3 walks, and he did strike out the one time he didn't walk. Colabello 1 for 4, and Goins 1 for 3. And that shows you the dominance of Volquez in this game, and also the bullpen for Kansas City as they shut down the Blue Jays. And on the offense for Kansas City, Escobar got things going in that leadoff spot. 2 for 3, 1 RBI, 2 runs scored. Zobrist 1 for 4, 1 run scored. Kane 1 for 4, 1 RBI. Hosmer 1 for 4 with an RBI. Morales 1 for 3 with an RBI. Moustakas and Rios were the only guys who didn't actually get a hit in this game for the Royals. It's Moustakas 0 for 4, Rios 0 for 3. But Salvador Perez 1 for 3 with an RBI off that solo shot, which he crossed the plate, obviously. And Alex Gordon 1 for 3. He scored a run as well. So it's just a whole team effort by the Royals. Like, that's how they play. They play that small ball. They string their hits together. They get things going. You see just up and down the whole lineup, everybody's contributing. With Toronto, not like they're not trying to contribute, but because Toronto's team is more focused offensively on the long ball, on the home runs. They hit 232 home runs in the regular season. just even between, their 2, 3, 4 hitters, Donaldson, Batista, and Encarnacion combined for 120 home runs during the regular season. But you look in this game, only one hit between those three batters. Of course, Batista did walk 3 times. Donaldson walked once too, so it's 4 walks, 1 hit. 4 walks is always a good thing, but they're not, if they don't get the home run, though, Toronto's not really going to score. You see, they're not stringing together hits. They don't really play small ball. They play long ball, and that's something I've talked about in the past, too, is that, long ball doesn't always translate well to the postseason. That's where, it's exciting, and when they get going, they get going. And they always are in a game because at any point they can just hit a home run and then it's like, oh, they're right back in it. But when you get an effort like this by the Royals pitching staff, and they've got a heck of a pitching staff and a great bullpen, especially Wade Davis, who didn't even have to appear in this game, that's something that, is going to be a problem for Toronto in this series. We'll see moving forward, but the Royals, the way they manufacture runs, that's the thing, is they're always going to be in every game. So we see it right off the rip. Game 1, of course, is in Kansas City. And, usually a team that wins Game 1 goes on to win the series. But it's still plenty of baseball left to be played. We'll see how things go moving forward. But already you see the Royals, they're playing their type of baseball. And they keep playing like this. And Toronto, if they don't get that offense going, this is going to be a short series. But we'll see. Like I said, at any point, all it takes is one swing, and then boom, you got some runs on the scoreboard when you're relying on that long ball. But it's tough to be consistent with home runs, whereas, if you can consistently get contact, and that's what the Royals do, that's how they won this game. Just up and down lineup, everybody getting contact. Everybody's either getting an RBI or they're scoring a run. Like I said, only 2 of the 7 batters, starting off in the lineup didn't reach base. 7 of the guys reached base, and all 7 of those guys either had a run or an RBI. And of course, the way the Royals were pitching, they weren't really fanning them. They were actually pitching really smart. They said they were walking Batista. That was a really smart thing to do. Don't give him anything to crush because he's dangerous. And they were able to keep him, off base. Otherwise, just give Batista first, but everybody else they're keeping off base. They only reached base other than Batista. It was only the 3 hits and 2 other walks, 1 to Donaldson, 1 to Pilar. But let me know what you think in the comments section below. Definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions. Thank you very much for listening. It's greatly appreciated. I hope you're having a good day and have a great weekend and enjoy all the sports.